Well, hello my baby gorillas, and we're just here at the Scottish Parliament, a big queue of people waiting to be shown round the very ugly, unattractive Scottish Parliament. It's got more bamboo than the panda cage up at Edinburgh Zoo. I mean, it's a one really ugly building. This cost a mixture between an NCP car park and IKEA cost £450 million. I don't know where the money went to. So what's been happening then? So I've now got the forms, and I'm looking for someone to nominate me to actually get the political party started. So we are now just in the process of actually developing the party, and we need a nominee or one other office bearer. So if you fancy putting your name to this newly fledged libertarian liberalist party, then please let me know. Just send me a PM on the Guerilla TV channel. It should be up, I would think, in the next few weeks. So that's going to be absolutely massive as well. I was hoping to grab some politicians down here, because obviously there's some very interesting things happening, but they don't seem to want to talk to anybody out with the mainstream press. That obviously maintains their power and doesn't allow any sort of questioning from anybody out with the mainstream of the British establishment. So what have we got? What have we had? So we're still in the process of having Boris's election, where Boris is unprepared to actually go and have a head-to-head debate with Jeremy Hunt. I don't know why. I mean, it'd be very difficult not to beat Jeremy Hunt. He's incredibly boring and dull. So he's a bit like John Major 2.0 as well as Theresa May. So, I mean, it's really, I'm surprised at Boris. I know Boris is now doing appearances and chatting to people now on the television and doing the hustings. But as I said, it's only Boris's to lose, basically. So if he doesn't make gaffes over the next period of time, then he's not going to. He'll find it practically impossible to lose the Conservative election. So I mean, that's absolutely huge. I think we've already established that Boris is going to win, but what sort of PM is Boris going to make? And this is the thing that's Boris is obviously understanding of the two-headed llama that is the Conservative Party, with the Christian Democrats and the actual more traditional Conservatives. But even the more traditional Conservatives, I would say some of them are questionable as well. But anyway, let's assume that these are the two groups, and Boris has had to play fiddle to both the Christian Democrats and also the Conservatives. And he's had to placate both of them. So, I mean, that's quite massive. And it looks like the Brexit Party are standing candidates at, I think it's Gloucester, that they're standing local candidates at the Gloucester by-election, where they could actually win. So they could be getting their first councillors in British politics, which will be quite interesting. And the big thing is, it looks like the police and the powers that be, which is exactly what I said was going to happen, have basically covered up the Peterborough by-election alleged fraud case. And so they have just kicked out 3 of the allegations. There are not 2 to investigate. Very interesting. There's apparently a family with 11 people in the actual family who weren't a family and voted, or something. There's something unusual about families down there as well, voting and getting ballots for people who are not actually there. So it looks like there is a big corruption, and the corporatist globalists, the Christian Democrats within the Conservative Party, are covering up for the Marxists. Now, I thought I would go into why this is happening. What is the commonality between the corporatist globalists, the Marxists and the Islamists? Because the 3, although ideologically fundamental or conservative Islam is much more closer to the Conservative Party than it certainly is to the Labour Party. So what's why is it all happening? Well, you've got to understand that the corporatist globalists are wanting to move towards this one world government. Massive immigration again. Nobody's talked about cutting immigration, cutting taxation. None of these have even been muted by the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party are just wanting more of the same. More mass immigration, more globalism, and there will be nothing that will actually stop the actual global agenda to actually continue. Both the Marxists and the actual Islamists are both global in their attitudes. So Marx was an internationalist, and you're now seeing a return to the actual the internationalism. They're now calling for a return to the internationalist Marxism, which is in the Conservative Party. In the Labour Party, and based on Marxism again, which again was anti-Semitic, which actually corresponds with the anti-Semitism within Islam as well. And what else have we got? We've got, but both of those are, the Islamists want to turn the world into a Sharia state, a totalitarian Sharia state, where you have a caliphate and everybody is under this quasi-neo-fascist governmental structure. You've got the Marxists who are totalitarian, and we've seen even in Venezuela the moves from the Venezuelan government to corrupt democracy and move towards a totalitarian system in Venezuela. And we've also seen with the corporatist globalists, which is the Liberal Democrats, the Christian Democrats, and there's Big Ken. I'll come back to Ken Clark in a minute. And the Liberal Democrats all moving to an undemocratic 20 unelected commissioners dictating our legislation. And this will explain why it's very difficult to get nationalists into the British Parliament, because if they're actually using postal votes, or actually thwarting the people like they did with Nigel Farage, overspending and basically cheating to prevent nationalists getting in, then you're only getting the corporatist globalist viewpoint in the actual political debate. That combined with sort of the BBC preventing anybody who may have a different opinion getting on the internet or getting on terrestrial channels now, and on now the internet. We've already seen Google perverting the debate by shadow banning, by using algorithms, by thwarting the whole political process, or trying to thwart the political process in a run up to the 2020 elections. So they're very much involved in the corporatist globalist overall structure, and these people are prepared to actually thwart the British establishment, work in conjunction with the British establishment to thwart the individual's rights. So the combination between it's the Liberal Democrats who are pushing for the one world government, who are supporting the internationalist Marxists, and who are getting supported by the internationalist totalitarian, theocratically fascist Islamists. So the combination of these are that they're all internationalists. So they're able to thwart the political process for each other with the moves towards, and it's the obviously the corporatist globalists, the one world government fanatics that are really in charge of the whole process. So I mean, there you go in America, the corporatism of Google and also Facebook, who are almost monopolies, and have got monopolistic situations happening there. Are now there's a senator now wanting to bring in bills that will break up Google and break up their monopoly, and also I would hope protect the individual and stop them being discriminated against, having an even playing field. Obviously, if you're not having an even playing field, then you're starting to move towards racism or some form of discrimination. So, I mean, that's really interesting. Ken Clark at last is going to leave the political scene. He's obviously got his minion, his other Bilderberger, Rory Stewart, in there for the longer term as well. So he's able to then actually thwart the process as well. On the back of the Bilderberg agenda, which is open borders, moves towards an unelected one world government, and really the destruction of the nation state in the UK and corporatist globalism, to actually thwart the little guy to actually develop businesses as well. They bring in legislation, and this is happening by corporatist globalists. This is not happening. It can happen by the left as well, but these are more and more regulation. This is not to help you or I. This is to thwart new entrants to the market and prevent competition. So we don't have a capitalist system. We have a corporatist system where the politicians have been maybe corrupted, where they're getting financed by big business to prevent competition, and in return the big business such as Google and Facebook are now thwarting freedom of speech to protect the corporatist globalists like Fat Ken, who's now leaving politics. But Ken Clarke's ideology and the corrupt corporatist globalists are not leaving. It's only him as an individual. The battle is a generational battle, and this is to actually stop the actual globalists, to try and prevent the globalists, or try and get some sort of backstop on what the globalist agenda is actually happening. So I mean, that's basically it. So Ken Clarke has actually decided that he's going to leave the political sphere, and I think that's a step in the right direction. We've got Boris, and it'll really depend on what Boris does over the next period of time to actually find out whether Boris is going to be any good or not. We've obviously got Nigel waiting in the wings, so Nigel is now sitting at 25%. 25%. Let me just move this over here. So we've now got Holyrood, and this absolute eyesore of a building. Hopefully that's quiet enough. It's quite noisy. This is the Queen's Gallery. So yeah, so I mean, just looking at the buildings, I mean, if you look at this building here, this, and even over here, the standard of building over the last 50 years has been absolutely atrocious. If you look at that, and look at that, and look at these. I mean, it looks as if the architecture, or certainly the stuff that the Labour Party and the left have been putting up, has actually decreased the attractiveness of Scotland. And there's some absolutely stunningly horrible buildings. So let me flip this round. You can get the band in the background. So we've seen now as well that the globalists have also, the liberal globalists have now been getting challenged by Putin, who says that the globalist agenda is over. And we've now seen Trump move towards slightly more nationalist, but although I would still say that Donald Trump is an actual globalist, or not a globalist, but certainly maybe in between the neoliberal economics and also the the nationalism that Putin's done. So I would say he was somewhere in between the two. I wouldn't say he was one or t'other. However, I mean, it's quite interesting, the changes in the dynamics in with the world leaders. There's Angela Merkel starting to shake. Could be the first signs of Alzheimer's, or I mean, there's a number of illnesses that actually start to get you shaking as well. I think from a health point of view, that this will be the beginning of the end for her as well. So the whole dynamic in politics and world politics is all changing. It's not going to be the same as it was. And we've got Nicola Sturgeon. I mean, Nicola Sturgeon is very much a globalist as well. I mean, it's sort of the nationalist position that we want independence, but we also want to remain a part of Europe. It just seems completely hypocritical. Do we just not like the rest of the UK? Why are we not staying in a union with the rest of the UK? If you want independence, then I can understand, but independence in Europe is not independence. So I think, and as well, I think it'll be interesting to see if the SNP are on the decline as well. But we're going to start a new political party, cut taxes, cut regulation. We're going to potentially outlaw corporatism, where you can't have regulations to prevent new entrants to a market. It's going to be a very exciting time as well. So hopefully we're going to find out very soon with regards to the new party, which hopefully will be completed as well. Okay guys, that was a bit impromptu, so it probably wasn't as good as the others, but my baby gorillas, you know I love you.